funding the illegals, whatever we're handing over to them. So,
and one last thing, Chuck Schumer defending his seat against the far left progressive AOC. That's really a big part of it too, as you know.
Well, it's going to be interesting, isn't it? The Schumer shutdown.
It is.
She wants that Senate seat. You know, she wants to be president.
She does.
At some point. Wow.
Yeah.
Good country. Good country, America. All right, brother.
What a country.
Have
Happy
a great
Friday.
weekend, Steve Gruber.
You too.
All right, brother. Michigan, go blue. Okay, it's Friday, 4 p.m. Markets close. Let's take a look. We just mentioned with Steve, across the board, some great numbers. All right, I will show you what we're showing. The Dow up 238. Boom, strong markets. S&P, record high today at one point. Backed off a little bit. Nasdaq, record high at one point. Backed off a little bit as well. Both are doing very, very well. Guess what, guys? Oil up a touch, not much, still hovering in the $60 area. It's going to break through on the downside. Oil's going to go lower. That's great for inflation. That's great for the markets. This is all good news. Jump over to gold, up again. Oh, it's just $44 an ounce. Oh, that's all. Again, approaching record highs again. Silver ripping. Crypto, we just talked about it. Traded just under 124,000 to the Bitcoin earlier today. Backed off a little bit, but watch out over the weekend. They tend to take people out of the game, so to speak, on weekends because Bitcoin and crypto trades all weekend long, never stops trading. So if they run it up, people who are short Bitcoin are really going to get, they're not going to like their statements on Monday. Let's put it that way. All right, let's bring in my first guest, the elected mayor of Boca Raton, Florida, South Florida, of course, in 2018, reelected in 2020 with 89% of the vote and was reelected without opposition in 2023. I'm happy to have on Mr. Mayor Scott Singer, by the way, for full disclosure. He's my mayor. I am a resident of Boca Raton, Florida. Sir, you're doing very well. You have the support of the folks. Here's what I really wanted to talk to you about. I saw this. Do we have the video? We have a little video of what Scott Singer, Mayor of Boca, said. You know, New York is going through this little, I don't know, a personality conflict right now. They don't know if they want to be socialist or just liberal Democrat. They might elect a socialist communist in Mamdani's or on Mamdani. And so what does Scott Singer do? Show it, guys. You have it. Scott Singer buys a billboard, buys the ad right there and says, come on to Boca. And you go through some of the reasons why Boca is a much better option for New Yorkers. Scott, Mayor Singer, good to have you on, my friend. Give us a pitch to bring more New Yorkers to South Florida.
Well, thank you, Eric. We're really focused on the job creators and the innovators, and our message has been hitting at those who are going to be taxed the most under the Mamdani plan. 17%, max rate, corporate tax increases, and just other taxes that will have to be inevitable to pay for the billions of dollars of free stuff that he thinks is magically going to be there. South Florida has had measured and steady growth over the last decades, and we've attracted innovators and job creators from New York, Chicago, and San Francisco, particularly since the pandemic started. But we've had a targeted campaign to really try to capture people to move their corporate headquarters here, to join our more than 40 publicly traded corporate headquarters, and it's working. And we're continuing to pitch. We don't expect thousands of New Yorkers to move here. We are a relatively small city, 100,000 people, but we punch above our weight when it comes to business strength. But we do want to create more high-paying jobs here to add to our ecosystem.
Yes, create the jobs. How's the infrastructure, Scott? Because South Florida, I'll tell you, I spent a lot of time in Miami, and what a beautiful city, but to get there, it's almost worse than commuting to New York. So the area is able to handle more people. And by the way, those New York drivers, I don't know why you want to bring some more of these New York drivers down here, but go ahead, let me know.
Again, we're not focused on every New Yorker. We're focused on job creators and innovators who can hopefully move some corporate jobs here. If we can get a C-suite over with 10, 20, 50 jobs, that helps to improve the job base here. We already have tons of talent through our great universities, including Florida Atlantic University, which is a tier 1. But in terms of our infrastructure, yes, we can handle it. We've consistently invested in our roads, in our underground infrastructure, and yet we have the lowest property tax rate of any full-service city in Florida. And we're always trying to find innovative ways to move traffic, whether it's transit-oriented development or artificial intelligence with our traffic signals, both of which we have.
All right. So here's the drawback to bringing these people here. They're wildly liberal, Scott. They're liberals, and they're going to come down and they're going to vote. Now, you are a Republican. Yeah, you're a Republican, aren't you?
I'm a Republican, but I have good news for you. That's actually not the case. The people who've come here over the last 6 years are voting hard red. Florida was a toss-up state with a Democratic advantage. In the last 6 years, Florida's moved 1.5 million voters to the plus column, more than that on the Republican side. We now have a Republican advantage in the state of Florida by 1.4 million people. So the people are seeing our message about lower taxes, lower regulation, great incentives, lower taxes, great incentives to move your business here, and a better quality of life, that we invest in police, are not those who are going to be voting liberal. They're going to be voting for the conservative message and the strong common sense proposals we're adding.
So help me out here. South Florida, especially Boca, very high Jewish population. If I'm not mistaken, probably higher than most cities, maybe most cities in the state as well. Why does the general Jewish population tend to vote Democrat?
That's a question I've asked my whole life. I'm Jewish. I've been a Republican since the day I registered when I was 18, and I never quite got it. And it's been very frustrating all these years when you want to value, hard work, entrepreneurship, economic freedom, freedom of choice. That's what the Republican Party offers. So it was a natural fit for me. I think the stance on Israel is 100% on the Republican side. We're seeing what President Trump has done, even now being a calm, cool, clarion voice against right and wrong with Hamas. And yet the Democratic Party, including Mamdani, refuses to criticize Hamas. And that we have, it bothers me that we have so many politicians on one side who are afraid to call out brutal, abject terrorism for what it is.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I'll tell you what, one of the other things that's going on in the Florida market, certainly on the east coast of Florida, into the central Florida areas, the Brightline. What an amazing train this is. And how did you get a stop in a small town like Boca? Because it stops in Miami and Ventura, which is servicing Miami as well, Orlando, West Palm Beach, but Boca's a smaller town to get a station. I guess that's a credit to you.
Well, thank you. It's really that we punch above our weight as it comes to a city. We're the economic engine of Palm Beach County. I mentioned more than 40 publicly traded corporate headquarters, which is more than half of those in the county, but 14,000 businesses overall, the highest assessed value. And we're a little more affluent city, so we're great in terms of tourist destinations, business strength, and riders who would ride it. I pitched Brightline 7 years ago, and I said, you're in Miami, Fort Lauderdale, and West Palm. You're missing the biggest market in Palm Beach County. Drag them here, and they understood. They saw it, and we got that deal done. We were actually before Aventura, and then Orlando was added. But it was very important for our city to have that game changer, to be part of that major transportation network. It's paying dividends, and in fact, Brightline last week just said that they're doubling the number of stops in Boca Raton because of high demand, our strong business presence, and tourist attractiveness.
That's great. Congratulations on that, Scott. You're also how we describe you. You're with AFPI America First Policy Institute, and you're heading up a mayor's group. Tell us about that.
Yes, I'm the inaugural chair of the Mayors Council. We kicked off this idea earlier this year to tie the policies in Washington to what we see on Main Street, because it's so important. President Trump's gains on border security, is one example, are helping us in the cities because we're not dealing with the fentanyl epidemic that we were, and our first responders are not having to respond as much as we had to. And there are so many ways that we need to take the wins from Washington and bring them to Main Street. So I'm honored to work with 40 strong, like-minded mayors from across America who are governing. We invest in police, we invest in infrastructure, we cut regulation, we lower taxes. We leave the crazy ideas that we're now seeing advanced in New York and other cities. That's not who we are. We're about common sense proposals to get things done for residents, and we're doing it.
Yeah, and I've said this since I've been doing this on television, about 18, 19 years or so. Police forces work, in Boca Police, they're great. Police forces work when the mayor's office supports the cops. If you don't support the cops, like in New York, for example, well, then it breaks down because cops don't really want to go the extra mile, because they might get the mayor's office turning their back on them, saying, hey, you're on your own. You support your police force?
Absolutely. The mayor and my whole city council, we are strongly behind our first responders. We're best to have the best in public safety in Boca Raton. You don't just have to take my word for it. Take out the national accolades they have. And part of it because we continue to invest. We have one of the highest starting salaries for police officers in the nation, which allows us to be very choosy about who we add. It's very hard to become a Boca Raton police officer or a firefighter paramedic because we have such high standards. But because we continually invest and we understand the fabric of our community depends on the base pyramid of public safety, that we are going to continue to invest. And when other cities were pulling back in the wake of George Floyd and all of these other ideas that we should defund the police, we increase funding because we understand how important it is. Yeah. Public safety is the benchmark of government.
It really is, and it also brings people to the area. People appreciate it. I will never forget when when the shutdown was happening and Governor DeSantis said, hey, New York cops, you want to come down here? We'll give you a starting salary higher than what you're making there right now. A lot of cops from New York State came down. And if anyone supports this police force, it's Ron DeSantis across the board. The state troopers, all the law enforcement in the state of Florida are well supported. And that really trickles into the community. Scott Singer, my Mayor Scott Singer, Mayor of Boca Raton, appreciate your time, my friend. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
All right. Okay, folks, do you owe back taxes? Are your tax returns still unfiled? Did you forget to file for an extension? The October 15th deadline, fast approaching, time's running out. So if you haven't gathered all your documents or made any estimated payments, you could soon be targeted by the IRS. They can garnish your wages. They can freeze your bank accounts or even seize your property. That's right, they can take it, sell it, and keep the money. But there's help. And help's available. Tax Network USA, a nationwide tax firm, has helped taxpayers save over $1 billion in tax debt. Billion with a B. They filed hundreds of thousands of tax returns and assisted thousands in reducing their tax burdens, and they can help you too. Don't wait. Visit tnusa.com/RAV, tnusa.com/RAV, or call 1-800-905-8000, 1-800-905-8000 for a 100% free consultation. In one short call, the experts at Tax Network USA will guide you through some simple questions to determine how much you can save. Take action right now before it's too late. Visit tnusa.com/RAV or call 1-800-905-8000. Okay, so the edge is ripping. I need you to subscribe. Yesterday, pretty good. Pretty good. We did about 40. Let's see what we can do today, but here's a little clip. All right, folks, welcome back to The Edge. Always, look, we are at the cutting edge. We're on the edge of what makes men great. You know, you get knocked down 10 times. What are the things, what are the incentives that get you inside that say, get up 11th time? And let's put it this way. Some men play it safe. Some men change the horizon, so to speak. Gil Deser, well, he found his edge, get this, building towers that most wouldn't dare attempt. Miami skyline, I'm telling you something, is not built by the timid. And Gil Deser is one man who's forged. Well, that guy's a billionaire who builds Miami, on the beach, Miami real estate. It's incredible what he's done, the risk he's taken. At one point, he was $500 million in debt to the banks and figured out a way to get back up. And that's what The Edge is all about. Do you have that real quick full screen? Real quick, do you have that? A chance? No? Anyway, all right, so you go to YouTube. Just go to YouTube. Just trust me. Here's where you sign up. I'm going to count them, all right? I'm watching the count. Go to YouTube and go to @EricBolling_The_Edge. @EricBolling_The_Edge. Subscribe. I'm going to count. All right, folks. We'll be back 2.5 minutes.